Have you ever wondered why your car misfires? It could be a bad ignition coil or a faulty throttle position sensor. Today, we'll show you how to test both of these components easily. First, let's understand the ignition coil. The ignition coil transforms battery voltage into a higher voltage. It sends this high voltage to the spark plugs, igniting the fuel-air mixture. A failing ignition coil can cause engine misfires and poor acceleration. Next, let's discuss the throttle position sensor, or TPS. This sensor measures the angle of the throttle valve. It tells the engine control unit how much air enters the engine. A faulty TPS can lead to erratic engine behavior and poor fuel efficiency. Now, let's move on to testing the ignition coil. First, disconnect the ignition coil from the vehicle. Then, use a multimeter set to resistance mode. Measure the primary and secondary resistance. Compare your readings with the manufacturer's specifications. If they're out of range, the coil needs replacement. Next, let's test the throttle position sensor. Again, disconnect the sensor from the vehicle. Use your multimeter to measure the voltage output. You should see a smooth change in voltage as you slowly open the throttle. If it jumps inconsistently or reads out of range, replace the sensor. For example, if you notice engine misfires while accelerating, check the ignition coil first. Similarly, if you're experiencing rough idle or stalling, focus on the throttle position sensor. In summary, testing the ignition coil and TPS is straightforward. Start with the ignition coil and check its resistance. Then, test the TPS voltage while operating the throttle. This will help you identify any issues affecting your engine. Now's the time to take action. Grab your tools and start testing your ignition coil and throttle position sensor today. Remember, keeping your engine in top shape means better performance and reliability. Have you ever experienced your engine sputtering during a drive? This can be frustrating, especially when you depend on your car for daily commutes. Understanding and addressing these issues early can save you time and money in repairs down the road. Testing these components is not just about troubleshooting, it's about empowering yourself as a car owner. By becoming familiar with your vehicle's systems, you not only reduce repair costs but also enhance your driving experience. Your car deserves the best care, and knowledge is a powerful tool in maintaining its efficiency. To begin testing the ignition coil, first, ensure your vehicle is turned off and the keys are removed. Safety is paramount, so wear protective gloves and goggles during this process. With your multimeter in hand, disconnect the ignition coil's wiring harness, carefully peeling it away without damaging the connectors. This will give you direct access to the coil terminals, allowing for an accurate resistance measurement. Next, set your multimeter to the resistance mode, typically indicated by the ohm symbol. This step is crucial to determine whether the ignition coil is functioning properly or showing signs of failure. Continuing with the testing process, start by measuring the primary resistance. Connect the multimeter leads to the designated terminals on the ignition coil, ensuring a secure connection. Take note of the reading displayed on the multimeter. It should fall within the range specified by the manufacturer in your vehicle's manual. If the value is significantly higher or lower than expected, this indicates a failing ignition coil that requires replacement to restore proper engine function. Always remember to follow up with measuring the secondary resistance for a thorough assessment, as both readings are essential for diagnosing the coil's condition accurately. Once you've taken both resistance measurements of the ignition coil, it's essential to interpret the results accurately. If the primary and secondary readings align with the manufacturer's specifications, congratulations, you successfully diagnosed a working ignition coil. However, if either reading is out of range, it's a clear indicator that the coil is faulty and needs replacement. With the testing complete, don't forget to securely reconnect all components back to their original positions to prevent any issues during operation, ensuring that everything is snug and properly connected for optimal performance. Now that you've measured the primary and secondary resistances of the ignition coil, it's time to shift your focus to the throttle position sensor. Be sure to disconnect it carefully from the vehicle's wiring harness to prepare for accurate testing. After following the steps for testing both the ignition coil and throttle position sensor, you are now equipped to tackle and resolve the misfiring issues. Continuously maintain your vehicle, and remember that an informed driver is a powerful driver. Enjoy your journey with confidence and assured performance. To successfully conduct the throttle position sensor test, ensure that the ignition is still off while you disconnect the sensor. With your multimeter set to measure voltage, connect the probes to the output terminals of the TPS. As you gently press the accelerator pedal, observe the voltage readings. They should rise smoothly without any erratic fluctuations. If you experience jumps or inconsistencies, it's time to replace the throttle position sensor to guarantee your engine operates efficiently. After confirming that the throttle position sensor is functioning correctly, reconnect the sensor to its wiring harness, ensuring a secure fit. Next, start the engine and take it for a short drive, paying close attention to how it responds during acceleration and deceleration. Listen for any signs of misfiring or hesitation, as this will help indicate if further adjustments or repairs are necessary. Keep in mind that a well-maintained engine not only provides better performance but also improves overall fuel efficiency. If any issues persist, consider consulting a professional mechanic for a detailed analysis. As you drive, you may notice that your vehicle handles differently, reflecting the positive effects of your recent tests. Pay attention to how responsive the throttle is and whether the engine runs smoothly. If the symptoms of misfiring diminish, you can take pride in having successfully diagnosed and addressed the issues. Staying proactive about vehicle maintenance, understanding the details of components like the ignition coil and throttle position sensor, will lead to a more reliable driving experience and maintain your car's longevity. Always remember that knowledge gained through hands-on testing is a vital asset. Now that you've taken the time to test and diagnose these vital components, take a moment to reflect on the valuable skills you have developed. With a better understanding of your vehicle systems, you're not just a passive driver anymore. You've become an informed car owner. Embrace this newfound knowledge, as it empowers you to make smarter decisions regarding maintenance and repairs. Regularly check the ignition coil and throttle position sensor can help you maintain peak performance, ensuring a smoother driving experience for every journey. Your car is an intricate machine, deserving of the utmost care and attention. By taking action today, you've set the foundation for a reliable and efficient vehicle for years to come. Continue to learn and explore further maintenance tasks, as each little step contributes significantly to your car's overall health. Amidst all this, don't overlook the importance of regular vehicle checkups. With time, your ignition coil and throttle position sensor can face wear and tear, affecting their reliability. Incorporating routine inspections into your maintenance schedule ensures that you catch any potential issues before they escalate into costly repairs. As you familiarize yourself with your car, keep a log of any changes or readings. This practice not only enhances your understanding of vehicle performance but also provides useful information for any mechanic you might consult in the future. With these proactive measures in place, you will cultivate an enduring relationship with your car, leading to safer, more efficient travels ahead. As you continue driving, notice the overall responsiveness of the vehicle, which is now much improved thanks to your diligent testing and adjustments. If you feel a noticeable difference in acceleration and engine smoothness, congratulations! You successfully tackled the issues that once plagued your car. However, remain attentive to any unfamiliar sounds or behaviors that may arise, as these can indicate new challenges ahead. Now, reflect on how these testing techniques not only enhance your vehicle's performance but also deepen your appreciation for automotive mechanics. Every diagnostic step you take builds your confidence as a car owner. To optimize your driving experience, consider enacting a regular maintenance schedule that includes these checks. As you commit to this practice, you'll discover that your car reacts more predictably, offering a smoother ride. Over time, these habits will drastically reduce the need for unforeseen repairs and expenses, showing that prevention is indeed better than cure. Share your experiences with fellow drivers. By spreading the knowledge, you contribute to a community of informed car enthusiasts committed to vehicle care. Your proactive approach today will ensure that you enjoy a more dependable driving journey tomorrow. With every test and adjustment you've made, you're not just fixing a problem, you're enhancing your relationship with your vehicle. This hands-on experience encourages you to stay engaged, regularly checking those components to ensure everything runs like a well-oiled machine. As you drive away, relish the confidence that comes from being an informed car owner, equipped with the knowledge to tackle challenges as they arise, paving the way for countless safe and enjoyable journeys ahead. Understanding the intricate systems within your vehicle empowers you to address even minor issues before they escalate. Regular maintenance checks not only provide peace of mind but also enhance the overall longevity of your car. Keeping a close eye on the ignition coil and throttle position sensor ensures you remain one step ahead of potential problems. By fostering a proactive mindset regarding maintenance, you contribute to a more reliable and enjoyable driving experience. As you conclude this testing process, cherish your new skills and knowledge, allowing them to shape your approach to caring for your vehicle. Your commitment today lays the groundwork for smoother travels and sustained performance tomorrow. As you embrace these new maintenance practices, remember to share your knowledge with family and friends. Explain to them how simple tests can prevent more significant issues, fostering a culture of awareness around vehicle care. Highlight the importance of tools like multimeters and their role in diagnosing common problems like misfires or poor acceleration. By doing so, you not only enhance your own understanding but also empower others to take control of their vehicle's health as well. This collaborative spirit can lead to a community where informed car ownership becomes the norm, ensuring that everyone enjoys safe and efficient driving experiences. Always stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of automotive maintenance. As you drive back home, take a moment to appreciate the journey you've just embarked on. Armed with newfound skills, you are now more capable of addressing potential challenges that may arise in the future. By undertaking these tests and understanding the components at play, you have transformed your relationship with your vehicle. Embrace the knowledge you've gained, and continue to cultivate it as you navigate your automotive journey. Remember, a well-informed driver not only enjoys a smoother ride but also ensures their vehicle's longevity and efficiency.